Welcome, I'm Bill Wake. We're working on a set of tools for musicians, dulcimer players in particular, and one of the things we've done so far, we've done several kinds of logs or database kind of things around songs, either dulcimer tab for mountain dulcimer or for hammered dulcimer, and then a jam log. I'd like to do some refinements on those, make sure they're kind of put a little bow on them. And if we finish that, we'll start the calendar today. And just kind of a sneak peek, I'm sort of envisioning 3 different views on it. I'm not sure which ones we'll do or, what's the most valuable. But the first is sort of a linear view, just kind of entry by entry in some particular order, probably by date, if nothing else. The second view is more of a traditional calendar view. We'll block off certain times and show what's happening on those and let you go to some sort of detail view. All these should let you go to some sort of detail view. And the third, I don't know, I think of it kind of like a Gantt chart, but where the length of the strip corresponds to the length of the event, and somehow you can see these in sequence. I don't know. We'll see. The third one looks like the most fun to program, but also like the least valuable, given the other 2 are almost certainly needed. So I don't know which ones we'll do, but the way it is now, at least for the dulcimer ones, is a linear list like this, and it's not super convenient to really kind of plan your time with or anything like that. So I think there are opportunities to do these other approaches. All right, but we're going to start with some refinements. So let's see, things I've talked about. First line, there are 2 first line views. They ought to be able to edit the song info there. We have that in the jam log. We should make that functionality available there. Different colors for tiles. I mentioned that one yesterday. Rotating the phone and then front page on smaller or larger phone. Let's get these out of the way first. So I guess we'll check this everywhere, and I don't need to go anywhere for this. We'll just run what we have. Okay, so this is sort of a mid-sized phone. The view here, I'm just going to go through each view and rotate them and make sure they're all fitting properly. Okay, this looks okay to me. No real issues. This one's not really allowed. Normally it's upside down view on a phone, and this one, and then back to the original. Okay, they're all adequate there. All right, now we're going to go tool by tool. Tool by tool for the 3 tools that really count. Maybe the 4. The 4 we've already kind of done. Let's start with news. It's the least controlled by us because I'm just dropping into a web browser with a link back to the app. So this page is whatever the web format is for that. Nothing to do with us. All right. I guess it'd be worth checking to make sure that does still look reasonable, but too much stuff up top. But, it's just a web browser to view, so there's not much of interest. Okay, so that one's okay. The first line's view, I think this is just, very wide. Tolerable enough. Yeah, I would say tolerable. These don't really affect that too much. Let's check the others. MD, it's same. They all have the basic same view. This one adds that quick save so I can record something for right now, but they're certainly adequate on this phone. So let's keep track. We did iPhone 16 Pro. Let's go to that SE. And then the other one is iPhone 16 Pro Max. Okay. You're not it. still starting. Okay. Now, there is a challenge that this is a simulator, so there's kind of a built-in limit to how realistic it can be. My experience is it's mostly been okay, at least going between the couple of phones I had access to. But there are things you can do on the phones that you can't do on the simulator, like sound. I don't know why on that one. Also, the sensors, like rotation sensors and stuff. You can't do those on here. We don't have any use for that in this app. I guess if you're playing Marble Madness, you might, but and this is that very slow initial start for the simulator. Okay, well, this looks okay to me, which is good. It definitely wasn't a given, and it hasn't always looked okay, but yeah, that's all right. Now let's go to first lines. Yeah, that's all right. Back to the well, come on, simulator. There you go. Yeah, I think that's all right. These things, they will wrap if the line gets too big, or the whole thing, if it needs it, they'll wrap. Okay. And the other views aren't going to be terribly different. And jam. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's a relief. And then the last is that largest of them that I have on here. I've treated this as a phone app. I suppose I could bring up the iPad just to see where we're at on that. It's got its own ideas about some things, but okay, that's going to take a minute. Oh, especially if I don't hit run. All right, I don't think we'll need this one. Oh, front page on small. Okay. I guess we're looking at that as well. Yeah, so we can close this one. I don't know if it helps anything. Now, our last app, the word finding betwist one, I waited till way to the end to try this, and so I'm trying not to make that mistake this time. All right, that certainly looks all right. That looks good. And both those didn't have any padding issues at the top, like we were seeing yesterday. Yeah, that's certainly okay. Now, whether, is there some better way to use the horizontal space? Maybe, but I'm okay with it like that. This is so similar of a view. It's nothing to be interested in. Okay. And those are good. All right. Yeah, I'm satisfied. Okay. So, and I guess I'll describe this as check, rotating phone, good. Okay, I will take both those. Okay, we'll keep on the easy ones first. Put off the real work. All right, so different colors for tiles. I don't know. This is okay. Yeah, news black on white. That might be nice. Yeah, so I'd like to have at least a few color. I think what I'm after is visual distinction on these things as we use them, and like this, the difference between these two is like a little tiny horizontal bar here versus a V in the middle, right? Not much visual distinction between them. One of my other stories I haven't really added yet, but I've been thinking is I'd like to put a little favorite star on the corner of these, that's either, I don't know, outline or filled in yellow or gold, and the idea would be that the ones that you use a lot, you'd mark them, and we'd sort those so that they're on the top of the list instead of this is alphabetical, ignoring our magic one. So if you never use the metronome, I don't think it needs to be, well, the ones you use should be at the top, I guess, put it that way. So I don't know I don't think that affects the color per se, but I think more visual distinction among these would improve the value of them. Okay. And so, what I feel like I'm coming towards without actually getting there is, I think there's some notion of the tool that's independent of the view of the tool, and we don't have that yet. So let's open content view because it's the top. Okay. And he just has these things as tiles. All right. And there's nothing, like if I want to do the sort the views to the top by choice, I need to have what is the thing I'm sorting. Well, it could be views. I mean, that's not totally impossible, but it does seem to me like there's something different. And I think where this shows up, like these tile ones, they look very similar. They're tile wrappers around a view. Okay. Yeah, automatic favorite. I mean, we could just put them in most used order. That might be nice too. But in any case, what are we putting in order? Well, it's probably the representation of the tool itself, and I don't know how to break that. I just don't know what the right way to break this is. I mean, what I'm kind of saying is like the name of the tool and the icon for the tool, and then now we're going to have the color for the tool. Like that entity seems like that should be a thing. That this is a sort of mini spec of what's the tool look like from the perspective of the front page. And yeah. So I don't know. Maybe there's more that needs to be there, but it seems like there's two things here. This view is sort of implicit. We're hard code the view corresponding to it. Well, yeah, we could let them rearrange them. Yeah, that might be even nicer. But I think the color is the third, and then the view itself is the fourth. That there's some sort of description that needs to be there, and some of these. Well, let's go back. Let's lock this and now do this. This one's simple. I think, yeah, these probably have they have to pass the songs along. Okay. Now we could pass the songs to everybody and most people don't care. That might be okay. Because the view has to use it. And yeah, the other view thing I'm thinking of in here, and I don't know, I'm debating about this one, but it might be nice to have a little dot on here. Like, I don't know, do I have any examples? Yeah. So Slack, I have unread messages. I get a little badge on it that says, basically there is unread stuff. And same thing on my Things app. You only have 110 to-dos you're supposed to be doing. And then OBS has, I guess this is more like I'm active. But I could see something where if the news page updated, this thing gets a little red badge somewhere, or a little dot or something. And just to kind of tell you, like, hey, there's something interesting different here. Now, most of these don't. Festival calendar might. We update that calendar. Can I put the songs in the environment? I don't know. I mean, they're managed by Swift Data as the @query. There is an appeal. Yeah, there is definitely an appeal. Like environment says, I'm providing this thing. If you want it, declare it in your own code. I'm not going to pass it to you. And that would probably be a good step. And we can probably do that. Yeah. All right. So what I'm after, or what I'm saying on this, it's like I'm feeling a pressure, and the pressure is basically I'm extending something that wants to grow into an object, and I can tell because it's like it really is independent. Like tile wrapper, I should just give it a description, a tool description, and it digs out whatever stuff it needs for that. Now, the problem is this view, I believe we did this as a view builder, right? So there's some complexity there. But the first step I could do would be, we could say that wrapper, wherever you got to, tile wrapper wants another parameter, which is the color of this thing. And I can certainly do that. I don't know that it gets that different if I wrap that into its own little class. Like, is there a behavior that comes from it? Other than, I know my attributes is kind of a minimal behavior, but maybe there's nothing that much more valuable in it. Okay, well, let's add it. And the easy way to add it is we can make it defaulted. Okay, so let color equals color dot. Now, I don't know who's drawing the tile. Is that making the decision? Yeah. Tool background. Okay, so let's look at our resources, our assets. So tool background is this brown, and border color is the black. Okay. And so this is the place that's saying there's only one, okay, in tile. All right. So we can pull that out. All right. So the tile wrapper, well, color dot, what was it called? Golly. Tool background. Okay. Okay. Now, I think that will run as is. There's nobody's looking at it, and it's, whoa. Okay, yeah, I guess I don't have to annotate it, but it's not a syntax error. Oh, I want to go back to my other phone. I don't like to design in the big one because it tempts you to put too much stuff in, basically. And so I think the medium one's more, the average phone is kind of in the middle. So, all right. So now we compile because everybody passes that down and nobody looks at it. All right. So let's make this All right, so let's do far background color of color. Now I'm going to build because I don't think there's a lot of places that call tile, are there? Missing argument. Yeah, okay. Tile wrapper. Okay. Yeah, I think that's all right. So I'm kind of doing the opposite technique. Instead of defaulting this one, I'm saying there's only two places that do it, so let's just adjust those two places. And one of them's in this file. So we'll just do color tool background. Or background color is tool background. Are you going to be happy? Okay. And then this one is color. Okay. And that should build. Missing argument. Oh, does each tile do it? No. This one's special because he's he's that web page link, so he's just got a different structure than most of them. And I think let's take your example. Let's just use black, okay, and see how that looks. Actually, it's kind of the opposite. I think of what you're saying. You're probably saying let's make it white so it looks like black on white. The problem there is I've got to deal with the foreground color too. Do I want to pass that along? But you're probably compelling enough that. Oh, well, interesting. Okay, let me close this one and put this back to the 16 Pro. Run that again. So why did news tile? Oh, we don't use it. Okay, let's use it. So this is background color. Yeah, and I think that's kind of where I'm coming to. It's like these things, I could make a struct with all this. Now, okay, well, that proves the concept that you can paint them. Yeah. Do I want to do the same thing? Right. Now, I actually think this special text color is all right. Okay. But let's we know how many places there are now. Okay, and it's not actually quite a white, it's a very light pink. Or, I don't know, my crayon box isn't deep enough to describe it properly, I guess. Okay, and then there was the tile. The wrapper. Let's rename this. Color. Oh, Code Rushed, welcome. Yeah, tile spec. Okay. So we're working on it's basically an app for dulcimer players. So a dulcimer is a kind of musical instrument. There's two kinds. There's one you hammer that looks like the inside of a piano, and there's another you play on your lap that looks like a three-string guitar, basically. My daughter is the publisher of Dulcimer Players News, which is a magazine for them, and we came up with the idea of having an app for musicians, and we're coming up with various tools that work with them. And we've gotten up to, what is that, 7 tools, and decided the coloring was not so interesting. So we're kind of building up the option of displaying, of choosing the color, or foreground and background color of things. Okay, so that's what we're doing here. Okay, and I think that will do it. Okay, it's a little stark, but yeah, it's actually interesting because I think Apple modifies black when you're doing this. We have a black in our palette. And I'm going to try the, yeah, so this palette dark color, I think is going to be less edited. I don't know. Maybe that's just a universal thing they do. Okay, but that gives us a different look on the tool. I think that's a step forward. Yeah, maybe a little off-white. I mean, maybe let's try that special text color. It might tie it together across the tiles a little bit, and that might be a good thing. And so I think I'll do the palette dark. Okay, just to kind of stick with our palette colors, because we do have this near black color as well. And again, just to kind of, this is going to be a very visual process for the next little bit. But yeah, that's not as, it's not as stark. Stark, I should say, not dark. But it does tie. I mean, this color is the same one that's coming across, and it's in our palette. So I may keep that for now. It gives enough of the hint of that newspaper color, but it's a little off. I don't know. We'll get some others done and see what we think. All right, and I do think the way I want to go with this is I have basically, where are they? Yeah, I have that sort of tan, a blackish, the white, a brown, and a green. These two middle colors, and I don't know if I can do sort of a half, like a half lighter kind of thing. I don't know what lighter does. I know you can say dot lighter or dot darker. Well, let's go through our list. Okay, so the maker tile, that's ours. And that one, didn't I say background color? I want that one stark because that's just for us. Okay. Tile wrapper. Background color. Oh, am I not allowed to provide one? Maybe it's just the color. I think that's the problem, yeah. I guess I can make them vars. My medium-term goal is to get them all defined for everybody. So, yeah, let's make it a var for the moment. And then if we stop defaulting it, then once we get them all done, there won't be any default needed, and we can turn back into lets and drop that. Which makes sense to me because, like, there's nothing inherent about this that wants those defaults. So, okay, so are you happier? Yeah. Okay, and then what else? We got calendar tile. I don't have a feeling for that. Yeah. Let's go palette middle 1. Try that again. First line. Now I like this one being the brown. Let me go back. Is it lighter? Lightened by? Okay. November lightened. Really? Well, a white. I could have sworn there was lighter and darker that you could muck with them. Well, I could change the opacity. Might be a little interesting. Okay, so I'm going to go with this guy being on the brown side. I think that's enough to get a... Oh, is it brightness? Yeah, you could mix it. That... I don't know. Turns the standard gradient. Is brightness on there? Oh, yeah, I could. No? Okay, let's see. Oh, that's. Oh, that red's pretty darn jarring. Well, that's the opacity. 0.5 is pretty transparent. Yeah, let's play with that a little bit. Maybe 0.85. Okay. And these are maybe a little opacity would be a good thing. Just consistently. I mean, it's kind of got an appeal. Maybe this I should invert it. Okay. Maybe not quite so overpowering. Okay, where'd my HD? Just a touch. Yeah, maybe. Well, he could do more. Okay. The green seems about right to me. This, well, I guess it's there. Maybe I just need to broaden the palette a little bit. Or get calendar. Palette dark. And then metronome. I'm not sure. Maybe I can find another color that would work with these. I mean, I've only got 4 colors in this palette, so there's only going to be so many things I can do. Yeah, black on gray. Yeah, maybe just a gray would be. Yeah, black and white and gray. I don't really quite count against the palette so much. All right, so metronome. I can close these, I guess. Is there a color halfway between these two? That'd be interesting. Oh, it's gray and dark. Well, let's flip those. which way I had it. Okay. Well, this one's good. This one I think is weak. Excuse me a sec. Sorry about that. Maybe the contrast isn't enough. I'm not sure what's bugging me there. Yeah, that's an idea. Get some more unity across these things. Okay. And I think I changed that opacity slightly. 85 in special text. No harm to have two the same. It just okay. Well, I think that's an improvement. Let's see, the other tools, I don't know how much they will. They don't. Well, some of them sort out. Okay, these two are kind of universal. Chord charts are definitely specific to the instrument. So is alt tunings. The rest of it, that's probably the only other two that are going to be distinguished. And I think I can make them both brown and green. Then the mountain dulcimers would know to look for green and the hammered for brown. If I use that consistently and work into these other colors for the others, I think that'll work. All right. And just a little visual interest. Now, I don't know what it would take to do drag and drop. All right. We'll save that one. Save that thought. So this is the front page. Drag and drop to let users place tiles, or most frequent, which that one has a little cost because you're changing the positioning, so it kind of ruins your muscle memory. Most frequent, or sort by mark favorites. Okay. Oh, and the other one was badge for new. And that one I could also see if I added a new tool, I'd put a badge on it. And if there was news coming in, I'd put a badge on it and all that. All right, but different colors for tiles. So I don't know. What do you think? Is that does this rise to being worth another object to manage? Yeah, let me catch that long press idea too. Okay. Yeah. So what would that do, I think, is it kind of gets rid of, does it get rid of tile wrapper? I mean, the maker tile, then we would just pass in this spec and somehow that. Can you say pass ID down? I'll pass it down. Okay. And this is pulling everything from the environment, which is helpful. I mean, it's got environment and it's got state, but there's nothing it needs passed in. Um, I think I think I'm going to put it off. I don't know. It's like we've got a list of 10 more tools we could do. I'm not going to get all 10 out before we publish this because I want people to use it and tell me what they want. It's almost like I'd like this to be its own entity. I mean, if we move the library into the environment, can we do that? Okay, so we have songs, and I guess after this, and the environment's gonna have to. Well, we do that in the app, DPN app. Right, we're not really. Where's that set up? I don't know if I can do this like this. I'm afraid I'm out of scope. Requires that library be a class type. Instance method requires library conform to observable in a class type. And that doesn't sound right. Yeah, if you had the view to the spec, you don't need the wrapper. Yeah, that would be what I'd get rid of. The only thing is the view has to be there in some form, right? So I think let's find tile wrapper. So right now we do this as subview of content. I think this will become, well, either void goes to view or maybe void goes to some view, or library or songs goes to some view, and then we build the library from that. All right, I'm going to leave that too, I think. Where did I write these? I think this is tool spec would be the name I'd give it. And tool spec to obviate tile wrapper. For tile wrapper. Okay, I feel better to just let that one go for now. But I'll take what we got. I think that's a small, nice little step. Okay, first line is able to edit song info. Could make the library observable by putting it in the environment, but then you need to map songs _songs to songs again. Yeah, I mean, that's not a huge deal, but I mean, it'd be easy to pass it through. I mean, most things kind of want songs, I think, but maybe that's not true. Tuner and metronome don't care. This don't care. That doesn't care. Song wish list, yes. Theory practice, no. Set list, yes. Repertoire tracker, yes. Festival planner, no. So some need it and some don't. Okay, let's let it go. So here's Jamlog. Notice on the right-hand side, you get this, and you can go in here and, well, in particular, change the performance for the Jamlog, but the big thing is you can save the song. You can change the song. So I'd like to make the others more similar. So the first lines, he should have a little bracket arrow on the right and do the same thing. So it's close to the right. And so jam the log view. Now we rely on this all songs view anyway. Okay, so navigation link, jam detail view, labeled with the song. And let's compare this to first lines. Oops. First line view. Okay, so yeah, this thing, all songs view, is just a VStack of this. Navigation link, jam detail view, label is Jamlog song. Song filter. Why is this? Oh, he doesn't care about the filter. VStack. Song metadata view. Okay. This is the entry. This VStack is this. That's one entry. Okay, so I think if I make him just a navigation link like the other one, navigation link, that's the detail. So it's actually the label that would go in there. No, I lost a brace somewhere. Is it here? Oh yeah, close the VStack, close the label, go back to the rest. All right. We did this one, right? First line. Oh, it was Mont. Okay. Yeah, there we go. Okay. And jamlog GT, this thing. I don't really want to show the performance stuff in there. I don't think that's part of the song. Filter. Add performance. Save performance. Now save song. I think that does. Okay, we'll steal it for now. But it's telling me we should. Okay. So I think I need a song detail view. Is no member insert? Oh, I didn't put the context in. We don't. The only place you can add a new song right now is Jamlog. That's what I want to change, is let you do that. Oh, and there was a plus button somewhere, right? Where did that thing come in? Okay, so he has the plus button. I guess we added that. So yeah, you could add a song on that. Let's see that. Oh yeah, it's on a little sheet. So this is the jam one. It has the performance stuff, and I don't really want to save. I don't want to see any of that here. But you're right. We have that sheet, which, well, it's got to be on the all songs view. Yeah, let's find that thing. Add song view. Oh, interesting. So this doesn't need the initial value. Yeah, we could turn the plus into a navigation thing. But yeah, this thing, we're given song name filter text. I guess in our case we're going to give it song. That's fine. So, and maybe this is more of an edit song view is maybe a better name for it. First line view. Okay, let's swap in this. Filter text. I guess that's filter here. But I don't need that even. I've got song. And I don't think I need filter for these purposes. What I just did. Okay. Yeah. Cannot convert song binding of this to expected type song of void. Cannot convert value of type song, comma binding of string goes to nothing to expected type song goes to void. Sorry, is that add song view that's expecting that? He wants a song. Sorry, this is just, I mean, song and binding of string, that's this. To expected argument type song goes to void. I mean, all songs view. Right? Oh, he takes song binding of string. Is that? I think I'm going to get an error for that, though, aren't I? View builder. Sheet takes song filter text. I mean, so he's using it. Like, why am I penalized for not using it? Song binding a value to nothing to expected argument type song. But I don't see a navigation link. What is add song view? Sorry. He takes a song, so there's nothing there. Save song takes song. I think save song takes song here. Well, I mean, save song, he's song to void, right? Oh, functions, well, he's a void function, but he takes an argument of a song. Our first line view, save song. Oh, okay. You're right. I see. So this guy's save song is probably better. I don't even know. He doesn't. Save song model context. I don't need this. Let's see if this is okay. All right, since he doesn't need the filter, and I guess that was a binding to filter. Okay, so I got Amazing Grace. The source, let's add that, is John Newton. And if I save that, okay, that's in there. Is it in the jam log? Yes. Okay. Right. So that seems... Oh. Let's make sure how the filtering goes. So if I filter to... Oh, the filter predefined the name. Okay, so we don't need the filter. If I go in here, oh yeah, there's nothing the filter's providing. Okay. I think the fact that it was a binding didn't really matter to it. Okay. Yeah. All right. So now, well, let's clean up a little, sort it out a little bit here. Okay. So I think this part. Well, that can go on first line HD at least. View HD. This label VStack. I will need another brace. And then we'll need save song and all that. Okay. Yeah, I really don't want to make this. He passes in save song. Well, I guess that gives us a seam for testing, but not much else. Do we use that seam? I mean, all we're doing is tying it to our save button, call save song on it. It's nice enough, I guess. But this is all view action stuff. It's nothing to do with testing. Yeah, maybe just move that in here. At least for this one. I think something else is going to be complaining here. Yeah. Now this one, well, I think we're going to own filter text, so we will adjust that. But when do we get the opportunity? So that one's changing a behavior. Because I'm taking that out. Well, let's see what the change of behavior is. Maybe we don't mind. I think it's that you cleared out a filter when you saved the song before. I don't know if it's needed. Okay, so here, put a filter in. Okay, if I make it that before, think that's not terrible. It's well, okay. I don't think it's terrible here. I think it does qualify as annoying here. We say, oh, we played Ambient Dreams. And now I got to undo it to get back to my full list. Clear button to the right. Yeah. Yeah. It's another click. So you'd search for it. No olive. That you create it, come back. Now you have to kill it, and then you're good. It would be nice if closing that sheet took off the filter, though, I will say. Is there an option for an action at the end of the sheet, maybe? On dismiss. That's what I'm after. The closure to execute when dismissing. Okay, perfect. All songs you can do this. And this is when you're adding. Yeah, I think that's all right. Okay. Maybe open this up a little. Let's make sure that works. This thing hates how I format multi-line code. Have surrounding brackets in a new line. Really? Do you really want that? Okay, jam log. Look for whiskey. Yeah. Well, that's our old behavior, I guess. So that's all right. Okay. Let's see if this thing's going to complain still. Oh, I didn't change it. That's really what you want? Multi-line arguments should have their surrounding brackets in a new line. Oh, okay. That's what it wants. That's actually reasonable. Okay. You clear the filter even if you don't create a new song. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's okay. Yeah, I think so too. It's going to be pretty uncommon to clear the song. I mean, to say you're going to create one and then not do it. But if you do, you probably are realizing like, oh wait, that's not water bound. It's on the water or something, you know. Okay. So these now have this ability. The title is not helpful. I don't know if I can just say create/edit. It might be, it's a little cop out. I don't know where that shows up. Add song view probably has it itself. Yeah. Create and edit song, edit song. Okay. Yeah, I mean, it could be differentiated if we wanted to really go for it. We'd have to do that in all songs view. Yeah, let's do that. It's just a nice little touch, but verb. Or add. No, you're right, it doesn't. We don't create it. We don't update anything based on it. Okay, so the cases are, we're adding a song. New song. We're editing a song. Not visible here because this is more complicated. But here, edit song. Yeah, that's a bad name for it. Same old song. Okay. Save. Okay. Yeah, I think that's all right. This is good. I just want to make sure we didn't leave anything in these. Do we need the model context now? I think we took that out. It was only there for saving. And nobody calls save song. Okay. All right. Make first line able to edit song info. Well, the timing worked out well. So let's take a break. So 3 or 4 minutes, we'll come back and we'll start working on the calendar. I have a bit of a spike we might want to do first, and that's this parser, but I don't know. We'll see. All right. So anyway, see you in 3 or 4 minutes. Welcome back. Okay. So this is our festival calendar. Let's go back to it. So we're going to have some sort of either filtering or sorting. I think this should be sorting to be kind of compatible with what we've done. By name, by date, by distance, probably date's the most likely. You can filter. Oh, you're right. I don't even think I've run them at all today, have I? I guess I can't do that while that's doing that. Okay. At any rate, I don't know whether to make those. I'm not quite sure which ones are filters and which ones are sorts, but I think you need to sort by name. No, by date, the most important thing. Distance is probably useful. Okay, good. Name is the least useful, but it's probably a good secondary sort. Okay, filter these things out. Then you get the list and then some sort of detail view for it. Sorted by or grouped by month and year. All right. Now, I think, I don't know why that's gray, if that's some sort of default thing, but this structure with, if I go back to my picture here, this is sort of assuming this initial view like this, which is probably tolerable. Maybe. Yeah, I think we can work with that. They must have some date and maybe a name and then details you can do, and then probably be able to star them so that you can somewhere collect the ones you've starred, saying, well, I'm going to go to 2 things this summer. I don't know which 2. Okay. And then, yeah, no difference there. All right. And so from the technical side of doing this, I mean, I it's work, but I don't see anything that's a barrier to us. The place that's going to be more challenging is like, where are these things coming from? And it's very easy for me to put my app hat on and say, well, I'm, not my job. I'm just going to work on the app and do the fun things and figure out how to do distances from this to this and, whatever. But the reality is these events come from somewhere. So, I mean, the form they're in now, at least from our perspective, you've got a page basically that lists them either by date or by state. Tapping the event. Oh, that's an option too. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's not a whole lot more that I want to put on these. So the growable idea might make good sense because mostly you're going to funnel them to the, to the web link if they want to pursue it. But they all are somewhat like this. They got the name of the festival, the date, the place. There's a link. There's usually some other, or often some other information. Not usually. Just some have it and some don't. Now, that's not a ton to fit on our screen for sure. And when we're doing this for people, that's definitely the biggest kind of comment we have on these, a couple that have that. Now that's a long name. Probably could split off some of that. But it's not unbearable. And even here, right, we sort them by date or state, and state is our kind of a distance approximation. And you got a bunch of virtual ones. Okay. But like, where is our app going to get this? Is it going to try and read this page and parse it in some sense? I don't think so. As the guy who helps maintain this page, I can tell you it's a pain. If somebody changes their date, so I don't know, I have these ones that maybe go in the future a little farther. Okay. Traditions Week. Last year it was June 24th through 28th. Well, if they come in and tell me, oh, it's going to be the 18th this year, then I have to move this around here and then go over in the state and move it around. It's annoying. It's not so great fun to be editing this web page either. And the other thing is, like, you'd like a calendar view in some sense, whether it's this one or this one, either one of those would be kind of helpful because you've got to relate it to your own personal calendars. It's a challenge. So one option, one option would be to put it on a Google Calendar, say, or XYZ calendar, but then let's see, I'm not sure I want to share my calendar. I guess I got too much weird stuff on it this week. But I mean, a normal Google Calendar, there's an export facility, and you can say export this calendar, and it puts it in iCal format, which I think tends to be a .ics file. And that's where this came in. Yeah, RFC 5545. Okay. This is, it's not feature complete. Okay. I looked around. Nobody has a good feature complete one, I don't think. But this one lets you parse. Okay. To get started, you import this and you use IC parser and it creates a calendar. And I don't know what iCalendar is, but let's go see if we can find it. Sounds like a model. iCalendar. Okay, so I'm a calendar. I've got a scale, Gregorian. Okay. Yeah, RFC is a very generalized thing. Like, I'm not gonna, let's go back and put us in Justinian calendar for people, This is really just kind of pulling events out of the iCalendar format or ICS format, whatever you want to call it. The method. So I don't know. Let me see. I had something here. Where did I put that? Is it here? Yeah. Okay, TextMate. So I exported my calendar. Oh, you're not showing. Okay, and this format is a text format. This is some giant header, vCalendar. Calendar scale is Gregorian, so there's where that is. Calendar name was Bill Personal. Time zone LA. That doesn't sound right, but I guess that's Google. Okay, time zone offset 800. That's PST. Yeah, is 800 off UTC. Oh, here's my. Well, that's not really what I want either. Oh, I guess it puts them all in. So I don't know. There's something saying here. These are the time zones we use. Does it use daylight time? What happens? Okay. There's a whole bunch of attributes. And I got to tell you, most of these mean nothing to me. Boxwood in Lee Hall, Virginia. Okay, I don't even know. So, we're getting into the events. All right. So somewhere here, yeah, begin v event. Let me make that a little bigger for you. Okay, so there's a date, start, date, end. So 10:09 to 10:12. Open space. So, okay, so this is back a few years. I guess I've been using a calendar that long. Okay. Open space event to discuss simple design and testing. The 9th through the 12th. So what is that? 4 days? In Vienna. Okay. But there's begin v event and somewhere end v event. Okay. And so the package that I found is basically copying out these attributes, and then we would attempt to figure out how they relate. I mean, this is the fact that it handles the case of in a multi-day event, right? That's good because our example, our festivals often run more than one day. So all I got to do is find a D start, D end, at least for that event. Okay, here's another one, Doug's Party, V event, D start. Okay, this one is all, oh no, is it a 2-day thing? Well, maybe. Let me find another one that's definitely 1 day. Okay, this one goes it's on the 9th from 3:45 to 4:45. Okay, so we can have those two cases, and that's fine. but we'll pull stuff out, and like, what I can see, D start, D end, that's useful to me. Um, Location, we had that in our original code. The status doesn't matter. Somewhere there's a name of it, right? V event start created sequence. Okay, summary. Yeah. Okay, so I'm surprised. I'm not sure the difference description versus summary. I guess summary is what I have in my title probably, and description is more of a notes field. It would be nice to find the web links to things, and maybe there's a way to do that, where Google knows that something's a link. Okay, but we're just pulling out a handful of fields from a large, annoying bunch of stuff that is at least human readable in this form, so it's not so bad. Okay, let's see. I've lost everything here. Okay, so yeah, and I guess again, kind of the thing about the app. Well, if I'm going to make the app work, I'm going to have to do all that app stuff. But the bigger problem is, in the end, I have to get this information somewhere. Am I pulling it from a file in this format, or a web page in this format, or am I going to Google presumably has some API. Do events ever overlap? Absolutely. Let's see, where's... Oh, never wants to bring up the one I have. Yeah, I'll say that and not find any. Oh yeah, there's one. 13th through 16th, 14th through 16th. So that's kind of why I wanted to have that view like this, that you would look at a week or a month and you would see like, oh, I can't go to the Central Kentucky MW and the East KM, and the other, all three events are happening the same week. I could go to East and then other, but I guess I should make that West, right? It makes sense. I could go to the two, but I can't go to either of these at the same time unless I'm really, willing to be in two places at once or travel back and forth all day or something. So that's where I think this view is good, because if I'm going to go to, what do we have? Dulcimer Quarantine and Dulcimer Doings, like that's not going to work. Okay. They're simultaneous. Now, I don't think you might have found a place where there were 4 things going on in the same week. Dulcimer stuff is not that big. There's not going to be, 20 festivals in the same weekend. We do keep a list of other festivals that seem sort of semi-related, more folk festivals and that kind of stuff. But even there, it's just pretty uncommon for them to be, all at the same time. You may find a few, but you're not going to find a ton. So we need some facility for that. And like if we did a calendar, we'd probably want to mark, do some special mark that says multiple things are happening this day. But yeah, so I don't know. I guess I'm probably the guy that has to decide this stuff, though, as to like, should I put them all in a Google Calendar? And that's not terrible as a person thinking about it. Like, you can turn on this extra calendar and try and figure out when stuff's happening that you want to do, and then turn it back off. And so you would have the view into all these Dulcimer things, but you don't have to keep that visible all the time. Like most of these, I don't know. I go to a lot of things because I I'm helping my daughter with, attending these things. I went to, I don't know, 5 events last year, and I was supposed to go to 2 more that canceled. You know, when I was working, I might get a couple in a year and be pretty happy. And I have, many people who do this are retired and they can go to as many as they can bear. So, there are different needs on it, but I could see having the Google Calendar being useful for people beyond this. Even in a Google Calendar, there's a view where you can say, just show me the events, and you don't have to see the calendar view. That would be all right. It doesn't help me with the state view thing, but there might be some way to work around that. The app will work around it, because one of the features I want to do is take, well, I can't do it with the virtual ones. Okay, McCalla, Alabama. Well, I don't think I've ever been there. I don't know where it is, but from here it's a hike. Mountain View, Arkansas is probably a 20-hour drive for me. Berkeley's even further. These California ones. Okay, yeah, Florida, Georgia. Now that one's relatively close, but that's actually virtual. Some of these I might consider going to, but I'm not going to go to Wallowist Week or Dulcimer Week in the Wallowist, which is up in Washington, the complete opposite corner of the country. It's just not going to happen by default. There might be some case where I happen to be there, but that's about it. So that filter actually is pretty darn useful. And it lets you say, well, I'm willing, KMW is a big festival, I might be willing to go there, even though it's a bit of a drive. That'd be okay. All right. So I guess my personal task list is probably, I should put these things on a Google Calendar and then export the file and see how it feels for us. That would be a step. And we can deal with, made up data for a while. Yeah. Well, that's the real, yeah, that's another question. Well, that's sort of the question of, this could be one answer that says, pull in the ICS file and run this thing for you, and it will pull all the information on the calendar in, and somewhere there's events, I can pull out all those events and walk my way through this structure and relate it to mine. So I don't know, I should lay out these options. Okay. So this is really, where to connect calendar. Okay. All right. So it could be where parse the current page. Another would be put events in Google, and then under there we could say there's probably a Google API to access it. Okay, so one way might be just go to Google and say, hey, give me the events in June of 2025. Another way would be, there may be an API, I'll say access events, API to pull calendar as ICS file. Okay. It could be we manually extract, we manually export from Google, and then upload file to known place. Yeah, let's let that one. So we could get ICS file somehow convert to JSON, put in known place. Okay. Or maybe Google API might have a maybe it has a JSON sort of format. Now, I think there's a good chance that whatever format it is, we're gonna create our own format from it that is focused on what we want. I mean, I'm not doing, I don't know, that sort of hexagonal architecture thing, that you have this core processing you're doing, which is our stuff of displaying and filtering and whatever. And how it gets there, there's going to be some format we have that says this is how we talk about our stuff. And the fact that the outside world doesn't use that format, there's some piece of software that has to convert it. And, this version says it's kind of external. Presumably the JSON would be the one that matches up the one we're working with. Okay. But it could be we load it and convert it in the app. I'll say upload to known place. It could be get ICS file, convert to our objects in our app. Okay. So however, it's somehow. All right. And, if I have to say what's going on for the bigger picture of things, right? I mean, I could make an argument or make a case for not doing this and just put up a Google web page, put up a version of a Google Calendar. I imagine there's a Google Calendar you can display somehow, do that and pull it from that only, and replace that on this page. That would be a change to the way this part of the world, I mean, the larger application of this company, DP News, that could change the way they do things, or, they is kind of half we, because like I said, it's kind of a pain in the butt to go through here and manually update all these things. What I would really like is something where somebody tells me about their stuff and they give me a Google Calendar entry and I can just import it. Would be just, nice and dandy. Maybe I tweak it, but I don't have to do a lot of work for it. So I don't know. It affects several things. I hate doing things multiple times, that's for sure. And I'm already doing it twice to get states and dates. All right. But I'm going to push this one off. But I think it's close enough in concept. There are events, wherever they got to. I see event. Okay, so the calendar itself, I don't really have too much I care about on it. In reality, I see event is where the stuff's happening for me. Okay, so attendees, I don't care about that. A document object. That's an attachment. That's not really useful. Categories, maybe. I mean, you could maybe put a category that's the state. I don't know what classification is. Oh, access classification. Okay. Comment string contact. Those are not there. Description. I don't know where summary is. Date created, date end. Where's date start? Okay, date start. Yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of stuff in here I don't care about at all. Okay, but I do care about date start, date end. I don't know if the stamp matters. Location, I can use that. So yeah, there's, that's something. I wish they had a URL I could link to. Oh, there is. And I don't know if I can get that in Google, but it's in the associated with the iCalendar object. That's not so useful. Okay, that's going to point back to the calendar, I guess. Oh, so pull this back. URL. Not much explanation there. Yeah, they seem to be linking back to other things in the calendar. Okay. Yeah, I'll probably have to parse something, but I can give myself standards to do that. I mean, if I see strings that are HTTP blah blah blah, that's fine. I can pull a link from that. They're not huge descriptions. I mean, I don't know. I'll have to do something about these TBDs, maybe give it the date with 2025 and mark it as tentative or, last year's or TBDs, whatever. Um, this stuff would all be description, but yeah, I mean, we could pull that URL and make it alive, unless they store all links as separate items. Yeah. Um, I don't know that they. I don't know if that's done in the Google format has enough room for that kind of thing. Um, but I mean, I'm the person filling it in on the Google form. So if there's some standard I have to do or something like that, always put the URL last or first, or put the word TBD first if the date is only tentative from last year or something. Um, I can do that. A little structure that wouldn't break anything. Yeah. So okay. So I'm glad to have looked around and thought about this. I mean, this looks reasonably useful for me in terms of parsing that thing. I get back events that have the start date, the end date, description, location, and a description summary and a description like that. That's the 5 fields I need. And I'm not going to worry about marking busy and who's attending, and none of that's my problem. So I can ignore most of the stuff on here. But I would see us creating our own objects that have those 5 or 6 fields, or the ones we want. So we would have a URL that's the URL of the site, the festival, and the fact that this URL is there is useless. We would parse it out of our summary or something. That's okay. But I would see us having our own objects that are sort of a subset, but not 100% a subset of this. And an event is kind of fits the name of what we're doing. Their festival's an event, and a 1-day workshop's an event, and a half-day workshop or whatever. Yeah, well, that may be. There may be some stuff we could repurpose, but it would be nice. It would be nice if that calendar were readable. That I could give people a link to the Google Calendar and say, import this in your Google, and you can turn it on or turn it off and look for things, and you can get that. So I think that would be helpful. Um, but I can't destroy the Google structure. And if busy means, date not defined yet or something like that, nobody's going to know that. Oh yeah, you can do color codes. I mean, the category, I don't know if Google does that, some sort of tagging or something, but I mean, again, I could tag. I mean, I got location. That's useful to me like that. I know that's a separate field. I can use it, Um, some of this, like, that may not be the location I want to put, but if I can get this location and then turn it into um, a world coordinate, longitude, latitude sort of thing, I can figure out distances for things, and that would be all right. Okay, I'm losing my page here. Yeah, maybe a color code would be useful for something. Yeah, for tentative or something. Mark it red. I can do things that help and might still make sense. Okay, so, well, I think that look was worth the sidetrack here. I'm reasonably comfortable that those IC events have most of the details we need. We may have to do a little structured, formatting by convention kind of stuff that we parse back out ourselves, but we can work with it. Okay, so I guess I'll go in this, and then I believe our first version is going to be more like what this looks like, that it's just the linear view, and then later on we'll try and get more of a calendar view. Unfortunately, I looked at the date picker. It lets you choose dates, but it doesn't seem like it's a very good display. I don't know if there is a date kind of display. It's not like it's so hard to draw one, now that we've mastered grids on our front page. Let's see. Okay, so let's go in content of it. All right. So, I didn't check that in. Wow. Okay, and then calendar. Yeah, so my technique on this, it's like good, bad, or not. So when I start from the front, like we did for these during the vacation, I keep losing my second screen for some reason. Date picker style graphical. Oh well, let's see what we can do. Oh yeah, you can pick days, but I don't think you can like mark them colors and um, um, do that. I mean, there is a multi-select version of it or something somewhere. Multiple calendars, something. Okay. Yeah, I mean, we might be able to squeak it into something. Oh, yeah, that might be useful though too, right? Yeah, I mean, it would be perfectly reasonable to say, show me stuff, from June 1st to end of August, catch the summer or something. Yeah, yeah. Um, but I'd like one that I could display in like color code or, write little words in. I don't know what, but something. It'd be good. Okay. Anyway, so when I do these top down front end kind of things, I just my process is just kind of push through, and if what I'm doing implies the existence of some sort of type, I just create a sort of minimal, I don't want to say dummy, but not much, just kind of like whatever it needs to be, that's what it is. Okay. And like month year, that's not a real thing. Okay. I don't know where it's defined here, but um okay, yeah, we don't even have fields for month and year on this, so it's just enough to push some factor through. If I'm going to display the calendar orders, I gotta do it somehow, So to make that the sort button up here work, and not even work, but just be clickable entity, I've got to have some types for it. Okay, what is the problem here? Maybe I don't click on the screen over here enough. Okay. So, well, the first thing is I think date is more important than name. Okay. And I don't even know if it makes sense to sort by name. Does it? Sorting by date is reasonable. Well, I'll tell you what. I mean, almost. I think I should do this. The least change from what we have, and it's something we can get the data for. That seems okay. Okay, let's start with date and state. Okay. Anything? All right, so let's run that. Yeah, I think the filtering is by name. And probably filter should say that. Event name. I didn't get that in before the build, but that's okay. So this will be date and state now. I think that's a little closer to what we want. At least version 1. I do want distance. I really do want it. Because like I live 5 miles from Tennessee. And Tennessee is like, I don't know, 6-hour drive across or something, maybe more. Pennsylvania's sort of the same kind of thing. You can drive a long day, and that's just East Coast or East U.S. The big states out west, you can go forever. All right, so calendar, yeah, date and state. All right. So I think, yeah, let's find event, and I guess that's the. Yeah, I think that's the core thing we're going to drive off of. So let's. Now, can I do this? Yes. Okay. And cut it out here. Cancel. Okay. An event. Okay, we've got to import foundation. Okay. And then month, year. So this. I don't know if this entity is. I don't know if this is a real entity for us or not, but this is. I'd like this to be like June 2025, July 2025, August 2025. All the upcoming dates, and date doesn't seem like the right object for that. I mean, like, it really doesn't. We went through a bunch of stuff fooling around with dates to make them so they were independent of time, and now I'm trying to get months independent of day. I'm kind of inclined to go the other way and make our own type for it, populated from some function of dates, but our own type. So, okay, whoops. I got to do that extra little pause. Okay, so this needs foundation as well. No. I just want to delete what I have selected. Okay. Now, I think I should put this in event, maybe? It's a little weird to extend the arrays like that. I don't know why I got into that. Okay. All right. So the thing I want to do is if we have an array of events, is that enough to get going? Yeah, I mean, I think it's enough to get more realistic on the view, at least. Event is a pretty boring class, at least the way I see it. He's really just going to have those 5 or 6 fields that we mentioned before. Description details. I don't know. All right. Like, I don't know. There's no behavior I'm after for this. Okay. I don't think there's anything to test drive here. Okay, you've got a name. This description is really that's the custom string convertible conventional kind of thing. Name, yeah. Start date is, I'm going to say date, but I don't know. End date is date. A location is going to be a string for now, at least. And, I guess URL of optional URL. Not everybody has one. And details, I don't know what to call that. I don't remember what it was called in here. Was it notes? Summary is the title. I remember that much. UID, okay. Geoposition. Now that would be handy. I don't remember what it was called. Oh, description. I'm going to say notes. Oops. Okay. This is some function. I don't know if we'll need it or not. Description, if it weren't already taken for Swift's benefit, I would let it go. Let's see who calls it. Maybe we can tell. Okay, month year dot description. That's not the same as event dot description. Okay, so content takes an event and a string and gets content. Okay. Well, all right. Yeah, description. The description is the RFC name for the field, but it's not going to map to this description. I'm not sure we need this description. We'll see. If I take this off, what happens? Does anybody notice? Well, that's not quite what I was expecting to worry about. Do I want to default this? Location string is okay. Notes. Well, that can certainly default to empty. That can certainly default to nil. Does it make sense to have defaults? Maybe that should be optional even. Do I get those for free if I make them optional? I think I do. Do I need him to be... Yeah, I think any of these might turn into more interesting types. Because, yeah, I think location could be valuable. I mean, if we do by distance, we're certainly going to want to go in and say, hey, location, what's your geolocation? All right, now does that solve this? Yeah. Okay. Well, I think that's enough to make something work for the view purposes. And maybe, I mean, this is a very, it's a very minimal process kind of thing, right? The work's going to be getting from the calendar object, the Google Calendar object into this, or the page or whatever. Now, that does suggest that maybe... Yeah, maybe we can do something with state on that. But at least for now, I think I'm just going to get... let's get the results being more sensible. Content is event to content. Who's filling that? Calendar tile. Huh. Well, I don't think that's particularly helpful. Yeah, I'm sure we can get the geolocation from somewhere. Um so this is done, that's kind of the structure we used for our all songs view. I guess that's kind of why it's there. But I don't think it's I don't think that's particularly helpful. Let's make um, event view be some view. And he's going to need var. Oh, sorry. That's view. This is some view. Okay, I'm going to take this out. And this should be event view of event. And we won't worry about filter text just yet. Okay. Hey, welcome. Well, we have a crowd. So, what we're doing, I'm sorry, we're almost at the end here, but thanks for joining. We're working on building a calendar. So this is a set of tools for dulcimer players. We've got a metronome. We've got some indexes of first lines of songs. We're working on a festival calendar, and we know like a Google Calendar dump gives us this giant blob of all kinds of stuff that's in events, and we have a much more modest set. So we're trying to just work out display of that. But I mean, I literally have to go in less than 5 minutes. We normally start. This is the end of our. Well, it's 4:30 p.m. my time. We start at 2 p.m. our time. So maybe some other day will work better. But anyway, the thing we've got so far is we're just displaying this raw event, and with the stuff in the field. I guess this is where we were calling the description of. Okay, thanks. Yeah, anytime. Um, Event view, and let's continue breaking out. Okay, let's get rid of this now. So get this thing down to just the list of events it needs. Okay, and then the caller doesn't pass this stuff anymore. They're just passing the list. Generic content. I think he's just not quite caught up. He doesn't need to depend on content anymore. Yeah, but the preview also has the same problem. Oh, yeah, thanks. So what's today? Tuesday. Okay, we got a couple more days this week. All right, so yeah, now we have this thing down. It's only displaying because the bottom level thing is displaying. So we cleaned out some of that. Oops. All right, so make calendars view no event view for its display. All right. And then event view, again, I'm kind of pulling things apart that we threw together for a sort of UI driven approach, but as we break it, as we make it more real, I want to be a little more structured and all that. Okay, so event view now is in two places. Okay, and here event view, we just did verbatim event, so that was where description got used before. But I think what we need to do is look a little more critically at event. Really, we want to do name, start date to end date, and there's definitely no escaping the name on this. Well, is that the first consideration? Well, it's going to be in there anyway. Title, and I don't know about event notes yet. Actually, I don't even know that. I don't even know that we want this navigation stack. I think I like your idea much like earlier of a little open widget if we want to keep that. So let's steal this. Get rid of the navigation link. Okay. Let's do start date. And that's nullable, so we have to worry about that at some point, but not a big deal right now. Okay, but I don't know. The order probably is the other order. July 17th through 22nd. Event name. Okay. And I think for now, let's make this an H stack. A little prettier, I hope. Yeah. And I will stop there. Evening commitments, Okay. Oh, yeah, that would be nice too. Yeah, just sort of quick, short details. Okay, well, yeah, this is what you get by default. But dates, okay. Yeah. I mean, I think it's still date. I don't know if it's another little button here somewhere. Kind of a compact or full view or something like that. All right. But anyway, I mean, it's a start. We definitely have to work on this. I mean, I think this is revealing a place where we're going to finally start seeing some logic we can test. Like, how do you display the date of an event? Well, if the start date equals the end date, you do one thing. If it's missing, you do another thing. So we'll do that. Let me capture that suggestion though. Brief or full descriptions. Yeah, and even doing that, I think is a service compared to that full web page. You're just scrolling to find stuff, and really the title and the date is enough to tell you some things. Okay, and yeah, selecting events. Okay, and all of this is really in this flat view. So we will stop there and pick up there tomorrow. I think we'll work more getting the basic view out, and I think this toggle idea I think is the right way to go. And then that will reveal the stuff that needs some testing and some logic to it. But that's a good start. All right, thanks. Thanks for the brief raid. Sorry to shut it short. But I'm back tomorrow. Let's see. Well, it's Monday through Thursday, 2 to 4:30 Eastern, 7 to 9:30 p.m. UTC. All right. Have a good evening. Bye-bye.